Do you want a hunting knife to be able to cut nails, and does that matter, right? You see the videos, it's all good, I get it, but there's a lot of trickery involved in that. I'll show you.
Over the next few episodes, we will follow along while my brother-in-law Nick shows us the ins and outs and the do's and don'ts when it comes to making a hunting, fishing, or hiking knife that'll make your buddies jealous. By the end, we will have a fully sharpened, sheathed, and shippable knife to give away to one of you. So if you're interested, be sure to check out KAMPwildAdventures.com or click the link below to find out if you are eligible. Quick note. The blade used in this video is not the blade to be given away. What are you doing? Sit down. Thank you to everyone watching. This is only possible with your support. Good boy, Blue.
This knife has been sitting around for a long time. When you start getting into your blues, you get a little too hot. This is probably the most dangerous tool in the shop. Let's see if we can cut a nail with it. I'm not like this at all as far as thinking I do it the best way or any of that. There's a lot of different ways you can do this, just like anything. Archery, reloading, cooking, fucking barbecuing ribs, for Christ's sake. You know, like, everybody's wrong except for the guy doing it. No, there's a lot of ways to do this, and the way I do it works. They're great knives. Other guys do it different ways and build great knives. You know, I'm not knocking on how they do it. This is just the testing that I've done. I put a lot of work into my heat treatments, and I ruin knives. That's through several different processes just to find the weak points, find where they bend, find where they break, find where they're chippy. Where does your edge roll? Where does your edge chip? Can you bend the knife at 90 degrees? Well, no. Do you want to? Well, it depends on what you're building, you know? And actually, most knives you don't want to bend at 90 degrees. That's a test that the journeymen and masters take. They have to do these things. That's actually to show how good they are with being able to control their steel. Doesn't mean that's what you want, though, you know? I mean, a hunt knife, you're gonna want harder than that. This knife has been sitting around for a long time, you can tell, but it serves no purpose. This is probably 20 thousandths or so behind the edge. Little slightly thicker than I make them now, but it's still common. Super slicey knife guys, they take them down a lot thinner than that. And you can, and I have, and they work. 10 to 15 on a hunting knife is a good durable knife that's still good and slicey. On a kitchen knife, no, I'm gonna take a kitchen knife way down farther than that. Cutting vegetables, cutting fish, you know, I want it good and slicey. A hunting knife though, I want to be able to pop a joint if I need to, you know, I split briskets with my knives all the time, you know, just you take these down to 4 or 5, get them much under 10 thousandths, sharpen this thing to say 32 degree, combine 16 each side, go split the brisket on a mature mule deer with that knife, and then show me how the edge holds up. I'll show you though. This is gonna be real close to about 40 degrees. I would normally take this, I wouldn't go from 120 grit belt to this 30 micron belt. I don't care right now. This is just to prove a point, or just kind of not prove a point, but show you.
What would you do though?
What happens. I would take it straight into my nice stones. I'll show you. We'll get it sharp though. So now all I'm going to do is knock the burr off with my buffer. This is not how you do this, typically, but it'll be sharp. Most people wouldn't think so. This is probably the most dangerous tool in the shop. The reason they're dangerous is you've got that soft wheel spinning. You can see I'm always going to keep every sharp thing pointed with the direction that that thing's going. If I turn this knife up this way and touch it into that, it'll throw it. People get them thrown into their legs and feet. Still a little bit. Now, depending too, this is another thing about steel. A cheaper knife that's a little bit softer steel, that burr is more ductile, softer, more pliable basically. So it takes more wiggling back and forth before you get the burr to come off. Where if you have a really, really hard steel, the burr, the steel's harder, so it's more chippy, and the burr flicks off a lot easier. So on a softer knife, you may have to go back and forth several times before you get that burr off. So this is not how you sharpen a knife, but see if you can shave your arm with that.
Yeah, feeling hairs. I mean, it's not super sharp, but I'm feeling hairs. Yeah. I mean, yeah, you can see hairs. Yeah.
So your color tells you a little bit about your temperature. When you start getting into your blues, you get a little too hot. You usually want to stay more in the straw colors, but that does depend a little bit too on the finish you have on the blade and whatnot. So you can't strictly go by it. Start with your basics, which would be like your 1084 basic carbon steel, easy to heat treat, wide parameters. It's forgiving on how hot you can get it when you quench it and all this. Well, you get to these high-end steels, they get very unforgiving. So if they miss it by a little bit, you have a really expensive piece of steel and the heat treat shit. So it don't work. So let's see. Let's see if we can cut a nail with it on an anvil. Oh yeah, it's not what you want to see. I built this knife a long time ago, but I got the temper a little too warm on it. Been sitting in the drawer for a long time, cut a nail with it, what'd it do? Damage the shit out of it, right? Okay, let's try that again. I knew that by looking at that color, it was too hot. A lot of damage there too. So you can see what happened there, right? The heat treat's clearly missed on this blade. I actually bet this is back when I was using 1084 and before it, so I probably heat treated this in the forge. But I'll show you what you can do. I'll leave some of that damage on there. But this time instead of, I was below 40 degrees, I'm guessing. Let's take that to closer to 45 degrees. Okay, so I'm just going to steepen the angle on that cutting edge. We'll pull up a burr on this real quick. Thicker and took the edge down.
Yeah, look at that.
Did it damage it?
No, no.
A lot of times you'll get a little bit of scratching from it, but you can see.
I mean, nothing like it was before.
Oh, no, it didn't do anything to it. Yeah. It did nothing to the edge. The only thing I did there was I ground off the first bevel I put on it, so the thickness behind the edge on it now is about 25 thousandths. And before, let's say the edge, I didn't measure it. I know it close enough, though. Probably a little under 40, I'm guessing. This is probably right around 45. It's still cut, you know, but it's not really what you want in a knife. Point being, you just seen me screw this knife up really bad on a nail, spend 30 seconds on a grinder, and now it cuts nails just fine. Same knife, same heat treat, shitty heat treat on it, but it'll chop nails. You want a knife that does what you want it to do and do it well. You don't need to cut nails with a hunt knife. you know, hacking through 2x4s. Who cares? You want it to do what you want it to do and do it well. People think they got a knife they can cut nails with. Are they ever going to cut a nail with their knife? No. Going to go hacking through nails with their knife. Right back to that same spot. You know, there's a 3/8 bolt. And then you can see, I mean, I'm cutting into a 3/8 bolt, right? No damage. You can see we're right here. That's where I'm beating on the bolt. So this is edge geometry, is all we're playing with here. It changes the performance of a knife by quite a bit. So let's just see what we got there. Oh, there we got damage. Oh yeah. Yeah, that ruined it. This was tempered at too high of a temperature, right? So it got too soft. It shouldn't distort that bad and stay. It should be a lot springier than that. We'll go right next to that spot. Like, that's not doing anything to it at that level, you know?
Yeah.
And that's a junk knife. I don't play those games. I'll show you what we do now with 15 and 20. This precision heat treating that I've tested for a hunting knife, right? And I'll show you what they can do.
Be sure to check out KAMPwildAdventures.com or click the link below to find out if you are eligible.